Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to another Jets episode on the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me, as always, my buddy, my co-host, my pal, my main man, the Rock, the Foundation himself, Greg. What's up, Greg? How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? Happy, I guess not happy Super Bowl is over. Happy Valentine's Day for everyone out there.
Yeah, I mean, happy pre-All-Star NBA break.
Yep, there you go.
Happy post-Super Bowl.
Yeah, I hope
Happy
everyone's hanging in there post Super Bowl. It's tough.
Yeah, we can discuss it at the end in the etc. portion, what we thought about the Super Bowl. But for this episode today, Greg, we'll be getting into the new coaching hire for
Yeah.
the New York Jets, more ties, more conspiracy theories, which leads into a QB search that feels never ending. But I'm here to tell you,
And feels ever expanding.
Greg, and we'll get into it. This has been the plan the entire time. I'm ready to get into that. It's been status quo. We're just so in the weeds of it. But we've been discussing these exact scenarios since the very beginning. So we'll get into all that. And lastly, we'll go through the Jets cap space through Spotrac, and we'll do it together on the YouTube if you want to go there. If not, we'll be obviously narrating it. We'll just go through some because there's some conspiracies out there. Because if you look right now, it says the Jets are under the cap or minus $3 million, and it's doomsday. And how can we afford any of these players? So we'll get into all that. And without further ado, Greg, the reason everything keeps getting mucked up is because the Jets made another offensive hire.
Yep.
Mr. Todd Downing from the Tennessee Titans, which creates that connection for the QB search for Tannehill. We'll get into that, which yuck, I know, but we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. But Todd Downing as well had that DUI last year, which probably didn't bode too well. It's pretty interesting. We got the offensive line coach, Keith Carter from Tennessee, moved into offensive line. And now we have, was he the OC?
Offensive line / run game coordinator. Right now we got a passing game coordinator.
And Keith Carter. That was Keith Carter. Now we have Todd Downing.
Yep.
So before we get into Tannehill, do you have any thoughts about kind of just stealing this offensive Tennessee staff?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tennessee's offense has been pretty good for the weapons or the lack of weapons that they've had. They've had an aging offensive line over the last 3 or 4 years. Derrick Henry's definitely getting older, even though he's been great, but he missed some significant time one season. Tannehill's been older and banged up. They've rarely had a good wide receiver. When they did have a good wide receiver in AJ Brown, they traded him. They had some good tight ends, or they had a good tight end, but they let him walk, Jonnu Smith, in free agency. So it's been an interesting offense over the last few years. But with all that being said, not last year, but the year before that, they were the number one team in the AFC. So, I think we could kind of model our team, hopefully, off a lot of what they did, which is have a stout defense, a good running game, some good special teams, and let a Ryan Tannehill type offense kind of work its way down the field and score you 24 points a game and try to win games 24-17. So I'm okay with it. Also, too, they fired their general manager in the middle of the season last year. So new GM comes in, chances are people are getting in like, hey, you're not getting back. He's going to bring in his guys. He's going to bring in the coaching staff that he wants to build for the future for the Titans. So it makes sense why there's a few different people. Yeah, it makes sense why there's a few different people kind of leaving their organization.
So let me tell you why I like what Coach Saleh is doing this offseason so far. He is hiring staff. I mean, we went over Keith Carter, who, I mean, any measure you take, he had a stout offensive line and running back class.
Yeah.
For the last 5 years with Tennessee. Maybe he was a jerk and he's gotten better, like Taylor Lewan said. Fine, no problem. They were still good. Yes, they had Derrick Henry, but we had Breece Hall. So let's just call it even there. I mean, there's so much speculation we can do there. On the other hand, we have Todd Downing, who was the offensive coordinator getting downgraded, possibly because of the off the field stuff, possibly because last year didn't go so great.
Yep.
I mean, he did have Josh Dobbs at the end, which is it's a tough task.
Yeah.
All right, but we're not talking about that. And Malik Willis not that great out of Liberty. He didn't have much to work with, and no wide receivers. I mean,
And they were in
a
a play.
casual
And
fan cannot name one wide receiver from Tennessee right now.
yeah, and they were in a win and get in week 18 game. It's crazy to say, but like you said, they didn't have a lot of weapons. They didn't have a lot of talent, really on both sides of the ball. I feel like a lot of people in their defense were kind of banged up towards the end of the season, and they were still able to muscle to the end. And if they beat the Jaguars that game, which they were a weird kind of fumble, was it a fumble? Was it not a fumble? 6 away from winning that game. So I like what I'm seeing so far in this offseason, to your point. I think Robert Saleh is building a good staff, building a deep staff. Like
Yeah,
for all offseason, we were all last year, it was Michael Ford this and Michael Ford that. Now we have like 3 or 4 guys we can yell out and bark about now going into the season on offense. It's kind of new for us.
that's a really good point. And besides the downgrades, which I honestly, for me, I count that as a bonus. Like when Nathaniel Hackett goes from head coach down to back to offensive coordinator where he excelled, I'm happy with that. When
Yeah.
Todd Downing goes from offensive coordinator to passing game coordinator, that sounds good to me. He's going to hone in on his focus. He's comfortable with Keith Carter, so it's I like what Saleh is doing, and a couple of people have been coming, like Leger was coming. It was Super Bowl week, so everybody's talking. Anyone who's anyone in NFL media had some sort of radio spot this week.
Yeah.
So I heard Leger Douzable talk about how Saleh is just a leader of men, and he's going to coach up the defense. He's going to take care of it, even though we had no linebackers, even though we had no safeties, even though we had injuries everywhere. Saleh was able to take care of that. The offense, he needs it to kind of go by itself, but he could still lead them. You know what I mean? Everyone loves Rex Ryan.
100%.
Nobody has an issue with Rex. And I think Saleh is a little bit better than Rex, a little bit more even keeled. Probably takes care of his players more in the media. Doesn't ask for a snack when the camera's on. That's fun too. Instead, he's running stairs. A little bit of a difference in attitude.
Yep.
But dude, I like what Saleh is doing. But it goes without saying that these these coaches have a distinct connection to quarterbacks.
Yep.
And of course, there's Tannehill. But more importantly, Greg, before we get into each one individually, and we're just here to kind of just update you on the latest information on all the quarterbacks, what's going on. But before that, I just want to just kind of bring everyone back 2 seconds, because we've been saying this entire time, ever since Derek Carr was benched for Vegas. What was that, week 16? We said
Yes.
We said Derek Carr is going to absolutely get cut. He has a no trade clause. He gets $5 million cash, non-tax from Vegas. And why would he help the Vegas team, who obviously does not care about him, obviously does not want to help him? And why would he deplete the team that he's going to, when everything that we know says that Derek Carr is a good teammate? At the very least, he's a great teammate. He's a good guy on and off the field. Why would he do that to his new team? It didn't make sense. So Derek Carr getting cut, that's nothing new. It's really cool because Derek Carr now gets a month to kind of figure out what he wants to do before anybody even is allowed to, quote unquote, technically talk to any impending free agents. Like the Jets cannot
March 15th.
The Jets cannot talk to Aaron Rodgers, right? Yeah. I know everyone thinks they cannot talk to these people, but now the Jets can actually talk to Derek Carr. So that process starts, and he can actually sign at any time. He doesn't have to wait for the new year. He can decide right now, because he's technically gotten cut. It's kind of weird, but he's gotten cut in the previous season. They cut him before the bonus, whatever.
Right.
We have the Tannehill stuff. We can't talk to him, but he's still on the books in Tennessee. They can save some cap savings. They're going to have some dead cap because of him, but they could still cut him if they really want to redo. I don't know if Vrabel's going to really sign up for that, to be honest with you. But if he wants to, if we're going to cut, if he's going to get cut, I wouldn't mind maybe Tannehill coming back. Like he's not maybe he's the worst of the possible options, but I don't think he's a terrible option. And here we are. Aaron Rodgers still trying to decide if he's coming back. Lamar Jackson still trying to decide if he's going to Baltimore. Mike White, I would say his two options are the Rams following his boy LaFleur or staying as the number two if it's like Jimmy G or something. You know what I mean? Depending if it's like Jimmy G or Carr, like maybe he'll stay for number two just in case. You
Yep.
know what I mean? On like a $5 to $8 million deal. Nothing's
Yeah.
changed, Greg. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is we keep hiring coaches that have ties to quarterbacks, which, in my opinion, is great. Now, no matter what, at least the floor has been raised. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, even if it's Tannehill, the worst possible option, according to, I would say, the majority of Jets fans, at least we have his offensive coordinator and his running back slash O-line coach for the last 5 years. I mean, that's kind of nice to have. At least we know his positives and his negatives, and he was pretty much winning the division every year, or at least right there. We
Contending, yeah.
also have we also have ties to Derek Carr. Sounds good. Like that. I mean, that's pretty good. Everyone loves Derek Carr. It's nice to have some ties to him. Of course, we have the whole Nathaniel Hackett thing with Aaron Rodgers, gives him reason to come here. Otherwise, Lamar Jackson could just be the best QB anywhere he goes. I mean, we're covered everywhere. So, like, that's where we are. That's like nothing has changed. In fact, we've just raised the floor, in my opinion. So before you tell me where you want the Jets to focus, how you want them to approach, the offseason, because it officially starts now. What's your state of the Jets QB search, in your opinion?
Dude, I think we're in a good spot. I think it's kind of tough. I was talking about last week about how there's like a plan A, plan B, plan C, and now maybe with Tannehill, plan D, and how they don't all work like in linear fashion. Like you can't wait around and wait for Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers, you could be waiting till June for him to make a decision. You never know with that guy. So you can't just hold off talking to everyone. To your point, you can't talk to Derek Carr now. So I think you need to start having those conversations and gauge his interest. I mean, he was at the All-Star game, chopping up with Sauce Gardner. They were going back and forth on the sidelines, talking here, talking there. Sauce tweeted out to him, "Don't forget the thing we talked about before, before we left Las Vegas or wherever they
I
were
love
playing."
that.
Yeah, so you know, it's interesting.
What did he say? He said we're gonna come back here twice next year. Once
I don't
as
know.
visitors to Vegas, and one time as in the Super Bowl. You think that's
Super
what he
Bowl.
said?
Maybe that is where the Super Bowl is next year. Lamar Jackson, latest thing I saw was that they were $100 million different between him and the organization on where Lamar wants to be on a long term extension. So franchise tag is probably the most likely option. Again, that really hasn't changed too much since the last time we talked.
Well, the
You
update
know,
there is they hired Todd Monken, the coordinator in
from
Georgia,
Georgia. Yep.
which bodes well for, I guess, Lamar Jackson. And if they move on, I mean, he could definitely get an offense with a college quarterback if they draft one. If they get Stetson Bennett off the undrafted free agent list because he got a
Yeah.
DUI and he's
Yep.
26 or something. So
Yeah.
I mean,
He's older than Lamar.
at least they have at least they have it. Their bases covered there. Like everyone's raising the real organizations, Greg. They're raising the floor. Like,
Yeah. And
why is
that's my
anyone
thing.
having
Any
a
one of
negative
these
aspect to anything the Jets are doing right now?
the people are freaking out online about Derek Carr, dude. Derek Carr would be so much better than what we saw with Zach Wilson last year. It's not even funny.
Okay, hold on. I don't think anybody on planet Earth
There
is
are.
having the discussion that if you're watching the YouTube, any of the five quarterbacks it's on, whether it's Tannehill, Lamar, White, Carr, Aaron Rodgers, nobody's saying that's not a significant upgrade over Zach Wilson. Nobody's disputing that. I guess the only question that people have is, how about let me put it to you this: will the Jets be looking for a new quarterback in 3 years, regardless of any of those five quarterbacks that they get?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, the only argument I would say is maybe Lamar Jackson.
Maybe. Maybe. He's
So
the
that's
only
the
one that has a
thing.
shot. Derek Carr's been in the league for 10 years. Tannehill's been in the league 10 years. Rodgers been in the league longer. So,
18.
yeah. So, you
Okay,
know.
so the question is, Greg, what are you giving up for 3-year window? Because that's when all our rookies need to get paid. So that's our window right now.
Right, I'm
So
giving up whatever it costs. I don't care. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is the 13th overall pick. Cool, take it. If Derek Carr is a $300 million contract, $200 million contract,
okay,
sure.
whoa,
Lamar
whoa,
wants
whoa.
400 million, sure. Whatever it is, it's win right now. We have a chance to win Super Bowl right now.
Okay, hold on. Let's stick with Derek Carr for a second. You made a comment. Everybody is freaking out about Derek Carr. I'm probably one of those people that are. I'm not gonna say freaking out, but I'm probably more on the negative side
Yeah,
of Carr. I'm gonna be happy if he joins us, but I'm not gonna be ecstatic. If Aaron Rodgers joins our team, I'm gonna start looking into Vegas hotels.
yeah,
Like you know
Super
what I mean?
Bowl or bust.
That's what
For a
that's
team that hasn't made the playoff in 15 years, the Super Bowl or bust automatically.
or honest to God, I might get a hotel in Kansas City AFC Championship weekend to the Pat Mahomes Invitational. I honestly
Yeah,
might just book a hotel in Kansas City
yeah,
and just call it a day for the AFC Championship. If it's Derek Carr, I'm just maybe thinking about going to Buffalo for the wild card game. Like
yeah.
that, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I was giving you gripes about how Derek Carr's not good in the cold weather. The report has come out, Greg, that the Las Vegas Raiders are the ones that have come out and kind of dumped on Carr for cold weather games.
Yeah, I mean, dude. So I have it here. I ended up looking it up because I was getting so mad about this. Derek Carr's, I think this is 5. He was 0 for 6. He had 6 really bad games. So these are 5, excluding this season. I think this season he played Pittsburgh, um, and threw 3 interceptions and was terrible. So that was a bad game, dude. The first game, I'm gonna want to Mike Francesa this too much, so I'll try to be quick. 2014, I think that's one of his first seasons he ever played. He lost 47-14 to the Broncos in Denver. Denver went on to be 11-4 that season. The Raiders were 3-12. Does he stink in cold weather, or is he just on a really bad team? That's been my argument the whole time, and my
Okay.
argument the whole time has been he played really good teams. The next game that he actually stunk up, 37 degrees, 2015 against the Chiefs. Chiefs were pretty good, 2015.
Alex
He
Smith.
and the Raiders were not good. I think it was Alex Smith, or was it Kaepernick? I can't remember 2015.
Mm.
It's 2 years after we graduated, so I think Kaepernick coming in for Alex Smith was when we were in college still, so I'm not sure exactly who was there in 2015. 2016. Oh no, Kaepernick was San Francisco. What
No,
am I
it's on
saying?
Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs. Yeah, you're right. So yes, it was Alex Smith. Also, 2016, Alex Smith. 21 degrees in Arrowhead. Um, First quarterback since 1950 to throw for under 200 yards and have 40 pass attempts in a game. That's not great. That's not a great stat. So, but again, tons of drops on his team that season or that game. The last game was 2017 against the Eagles. I think 2017, the Eagles went on to win the Super Bowl. Again, I think he just went up against really good teams. Maybe the Alex Smith Chiefs really aren't as good as the Chiefs are now, obviously, but still, the Chiefs were okay with Alex Smith. There's a reason why Pat Mahomes sat for a year when he was a rookie. They were still contending, obviously not contending like they are now, where they're going to the Super Bowl every year. But so that's it. And then the Steelers this year, which was just a bad game. That was the Steelers were not good this year. Raiders were not good this year, and it was super cold.
You know what I hear, Greg? I hear a lot of excuses for Derek Carr playing bad. Listen, he's an average quarterback. He's an average quarterback. And that's fine. Are you paying an average quarterback more than 40 to $45 million a year? Is he better than Danny Jones?
But then again, there's one last thing to this. This concludes with since the merger, the Raiders are 15 since 1980 without John Madden, the Raiders are 15-32. Like he plays on a terrible franchise, which the Jets aren't a great franchise, so I get it. So it's like, all right, well, if the excuse is that he plays on a terrible team and he's not good, then he's going to go to a team that's not historically good and he's going to be
Listen,
terrible too.
stats from the 1980s have nothing to do with Derek Carr. And the stats have to do with Derek Carr is how bad
Well, they're
he
just not a
plays
good
when it's
team.
cold. Listen, dude, he's had a good dude. He had the best running back in the league last year in Josh Jacobs. He had one of the top defenders in Max Crosby. He got Devontae Adams, his best friend, but one of the best wide. Come on, like, come on. He led the league in interceptions. If it wasn't for those meddling kids out in Dallas, and Dak Prescott really showing him out the last game to steal that crown.
People forget that Dak Prescott missed a few games too.
But if Derek Carr played those last 2 games, he would have got it.
Yeah,
so I mean, there's a lot of loser talk coming out from Derek Carr. You did not. I was expecting you to lift up my spirits here, kind of walk me off the cliff. He's just an average guy. I don't know if I want to pay an average guy 40 45. So I'll pose it to you again. Is he even better than Danny Jones?
Daniel Jones?
Yeah. Is Derek Carr better than Danny Jones? I honestly don't know the answer.
So.
I think they're about the same. To be honest.
I think he's a better passer for sure. I don't think he's as good with that. He might not be good.
Yeah, but what about wins?
Overall quarterback?
Yeah, like wins.
Can't run the ball.
Are they the same? Like, are they both giving you the same amount of wins on the Jets?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so they're the same.
I think Derek Carr maybe is two games better over the course of a season. I like Derek Carr. If I'm down 4 and I have to drive down the field in 2 minutes with 2 timeouts, I'd much rather have Derek Carr than Daniel Jones.
Or I don't know. I actually in that timing, I think I'd actually like Danny Jones because he can move with his feet, but not during the actual game. What about Mike White? Would you rather have Mike White in that scenario?
No.
With ribs, all the ribs.
Mike White is 5th on my list.
What about Tannehill? Would you like Tannehill in that situation?
He's 4th on my list. He's okay, but he's old. He's been beat up a little bit. Tannehill is a weird kind of cat. I feel like never really had like tremendous seasons. Like I think he's always in that like when he was playing really well, he was always in that like 8 to 14th best quarterback range, but he was never like ever had a shot at like a top tier kind of guy. Lamar Jackson and Rodgers obviously have won MVPs. But I think Derek Carr is kind of in that same boat where it's been that bottom 10 to 15 kind of range when they're playing their best in the league. Mike White's never come close to that. Mike White's never been like the 15th best quarterback in the NFL.
All right, let me throw another guy at you here that's not on our screen and we have not discussed today. I don't think he's really been discussed much with the New York Jets, but to be honest, I think there is a possibility here. That's one Matthew Stafford. If you were to wiggle free, what would you think about Stafford on the Jets?
Again, just old, injured. Like to your point, we're looking for a quarterback in 2 or 3 years with him. Am I willing to trade for him? Like, yeah, sure. If that's what's gonna happen, because I think if he's completely healthy.
Let me give you a doomsday scenario. Aaron Rodgers retires. Lamar Jackson gets franchise tagged. They're not trading him. Mike White signs to the St. Louis, Los Angeles Rams. Tannehill stays on Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr goes to New Orleans. Now what? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like the Jets did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? In that scenario, the Jets did absolutely nothing wrong, but we still don't have a quarterback. We literally have a 3rd string rookie. Well, 2nd year, 3rd year, whatever he is. He's a rookie in my opinion. Zach Wilson just hanging out there. Well, what do we do?
And to me, you work down the list who's available and see who's available and go from there. To me,
Stafford, Jimmy G, maybe.
Yeah, Stafford, Jimmy G. I think Stafford would be at the top of my list then, unfortunately, if that was the case. But Jimmy G, there was, who knows what he's going to be like to start next season. I think he's going to be healthy based on the injury reports leading up to the Super Bowl or leading up to that game.
About 6 weeks off a broken foot, Captain Garoppolo.
Yeah. But dude, then it's like guys like I don't know what Taylor Heineke's situation is, Gardner Minshew.
Yikes.
There's a bunch of other quarterbacks. So I still think those guys are better than Mike White. I really do. They're definitely better than Zach Wilson.
I think I'll take Mike White over those guys.
Mike White has had one good game each season.
But with ribs.
Yes, exactly. He gets hurt every season to the point that he's no longer good after one game. You can't. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? It's like having a closer that closes out 3 games a season. It's like, all right, dude, thanks. Pitchers and catchers report today. So maybe baseball's on my mind. It's like having DeGrom. It's like, all right, DeGrom, thanks for those 6 wins we got every season. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Showed up to Texas today with stiffness in his right arm. It's
Well,
like,
so
all right, dude.
that's what the worry is with Aaron Rodgers, right? Because that's what Brett Favre gave us, and gave us what were we 8-3 or something along those lines before he tore his bicep and didn't tell us.
Yeah. I
Aaron
don't think
Rodgers
Rodgers,
hurt
I
his
feel like,
thumb.
isn't hurt.
He hurt his thumb this year. Everyone started talking about it once the
Yeah.
Jets started playing him and beat him, and they're like, "Oh, something's wrong."
Did you think there was like a noticeable drop off in his game? I feel like they just weren't as good overall on offense, but I don't feel like I was watching Aaron Rodgers being like, "Oh, the dude can't throw the football."
Yes,
I think Favre there was like, "Oh, this dude, something's up with this guy."
yeah. I mean, yeah, he hit 6 touchdowns against Arizona and then couldn't throw a go route.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that
Yeah.
thing significantly changed. You're right. I don't think the causation is really correlation when it comes to Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
losing. It might be. He was complaining about it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to be like a warrior about it, but he was like touching it. He did have like that weird like slip when the Jets were in town.
Yeah.
Like, like he can't like didn't handle the ball that game. Like that's tough. But it did get better.
Yeah. For me with
Um,
Rodgers, I feel like it's more of an off-season headache. Like we're just gonna if we do end up trading for him, we do end up signing with him. It's gonna be is he gonna retire? Is he not gonna retire? Conversation every offseason. I'm completely fine with that. You're
yeah,
talking
no
about a
problem.
multiple MVP. You're talking about a multiple MVP. I was like, all right, dude, do whatever you want.
No problem. And honestly,
Yeah.
okay, we could pivot here just a tiny bit as college football fanatics. You and I.
One last thing though about Rodgers before we pivot. I think he has a chance to improve Zach Wilson the most
Oh yeah.
quicker than anyone. Like, I think there's a shot that Rodgers comes in here for 2 years. Zach Wilson rides the bench for 2 years and learns under Rodgers. We sign Zach Wilson to a multi-year deal, 3-year, 4-year deal, and he's like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like a big contract. It's, 15 million a year, 12 million a year,
I
whatever
mean,
it
it'll be
is.
a miracle at this point if we give him the extension, the
Yeah.
1 year extension. Do we pick up the 5th year? That'd be a miracle.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
But if Aaron Rodgers is in town, it's possible. You're right. I agree,
Yeah.
and that's a good preface to this pivot here because whether it's 2 or 3 years they're looking for a new quarterback, whether it's this year if in our doomsday scenario, right? Like, are you gambling on somebody like Will Levis or maybe Hendon Hooker late, or you just kind of maybe waiting till next year where my two boys, Sam Hartman and Bo Nix, maybe come out more Hartman as a pro quarterback. But I don't know. I mean, he's going to the ACC, so both of them. I mean, it's tough. What do you think the Jets should approach with this offseason and these college quarterbacks?
I think if Hendon Hooker's available middle to late round of the NFL draft, I think it's not the craziest thing to take a flyer on him, especially if we were using like a 5th or a 6th round pick on the guy because of his
Upside.
because of the conference he played in, because he
Yeah.
played in the SEC and he played well in the SEC. If he's at a lower conference and he comes onto the scene, like he wasn't a name that we followed. Tennessee wasn't a program that people followed last year or the year before.
Oh, definitely last year. They were killing it last year.
I meant the year before they went like
Yeah.
bananas. Like the year before
Yeah.
they were contending for like a
Yeah,
national champion. You know what I mean? I forget who they had on their team last year. I think it was Anthony Richardson. I feel like it was the guy that was in Florida. But they had a different quarterback before Hendon Hooker last year.
Okay, throw in Anthony Richardson into this conversation. He has an arm, but he's a project.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So someone that like I think Hendon Hooker can come in and play well from the get-go. Because he came in this year to Tennessee, he showed up, he learned Heupel's offense, he played really well, he played good competition. He didn't have a tremendous amount of talent around him. Yes, he had good players in the SEC. Yes, he had a good wide receiver and a good running back. But it wasn't like he had guys that are going to be first round picks this year on his team. So and he came in and played well. And until he went down, they were contending for the SEC championship, for a shot at the national championship. So for him, I would take a shot on it. For any of the other guys, I wouldn't. I would be much happier with drafting another position. And then, especially for the amount you're gonna have to pay, you're gonna have to pay a 1st or 2nd round pick for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
It seems like. and then just take, a Gardner Minshew or something like that and just rock with that this season. If that was the case, CJ Stroud maybe is the only other guy I would be like okay with drafting. But again, you're talking about a top 10 pick.
All right. So lastly here, the last topic is we're gonna go through the Jets salary cap.
Yeah.
Just to
Joe
kind of
Douglas
just
on.
get Joe Douglas on the screen with us hanging out. My doppelganger over here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Davis, owner
I
of
was gonna
Vegas
say,
Raiders. He knows what's good.
you got
He knows
another
the
brother
deal.
in arms this week. Congrats.
He knows the deal. He knows the deal.
Yeah.
We'll just go through the Jets cap real quick together, just to kind of see what we have a hold on. Because if you go and you look at it real quick, it's minus 3.8 million. Doesn't look great.
Right. So we're
But
over the cap already to start.
yeah, but this is indeed Spotrac, not over the cap. But
Correct.
All right, so we'll go here. You can manage the rosters here. So together we'll go through it a little bit. Greg, CJ, we'll let's restructure his contract here. Your boy CJ Mosley.
Yeah, again, I mean, I was going nuts in the group chat. No one responded to me because I think people are tired. I don't know if people that listen are tired. Again, I just want to remind everyone, Nick Bolton, the guy who almost had 2 scoop and scores in the freaking Super Bowl, had a third of the picks or selections or votes or whatever you want to call it to the Pro Bowl than CJ Mosley. CJ Mosley had 3 times the amount of votes than Nick Bolton. If he scored that second one, if that second one counted, he would have been the Super Bowl MVP over Patrick Mahomes. But yes,
right.
He got 3 votes. CJ got 9. I move
All
on.
right, so we're gonna restructure CJ Mosley, save about 8 million.
Yep.
Boom, already over the cap. How do we feel about Laken Tomlinson? Are we restructuring or are we keeping him?
What does the restructure get us?
5.5.
Sure. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't restructure anyone. I
Well,
guess some
because it
people
moves the
aren't
money.
eligible.
It moves the money forward. So now he's on the books for another year. So it just kind of moves our problem forward. Carl Lawson, 15 mil.
Everyone says cut him, right? Everyone says release him and try to re-sign him.
All right. So what are we re-signing him at this year? We can give him a cap figure for this year.
What do you think? I thought he had a pretty good season. I didn't think he was that bad.
But he's not. He's not
maybe.
15 million good.
Yeah. So 12 million, 10 million. What do you think?
All right. Let's drop it down to 12.
Yeah.
Let's save 3 mil. Let's save 3 mil.
Yeah. Sure.
How does that sound? Not bad.
We have to do. We have to try to do this in Madden or something. I don't know if we can do that.
Forget Madden, bro. Spotrac got us covered. All right.
Yeah.
DJ Reed, I wanted to extend him. I don't know if we can restructure. I don't know if that works.
Wouldn't touch a thing with DJ Reed. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right. John Franklin Myers is interesting. If we cut him, we save a lot here. Should we restructure though? We need D linemen. And if he doesn't get penalties to not get us off the field, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's cost us a couple big plays, maybe a couple of games. I don't know if we cut him. How much money are we saving?
I think a good chunk.
He's an interior, or he's a defensive end.
We
What do you think? Do you think if he gets?
No.
Do you think if we?
No, we don't save much.
Then no. I was gonna say if we cut him, do you think like there's a team that signs him absolutely no matter what? Like, do you think someone else comes in over the top and pays him 13 million?
That team is the Patriots, by the way.
Okay.
John Franklin Myers would own us on the Patriots for the rest of time. That's an absolute fact. So if we cut John Franklin Myers, it's a 1.2 million dead cap, and we save quite a lot. We save about 10 mil. Should we restructure?
Yeah, I say cut him.
I'm gonna restructure.
Yeah, sure, restructure it.
We'll save 6.5. No problem.
Perfect.
All right. Let's move on down.
Right, because I think the goal is to try to restructure as much as we can, kick the can down the field, and try to win in the next 2 or 3 years.
Here's the thing. Everybody is on that kind of trajectory because we have to pay the rookies in 2 years because they're going to want to get paid early. Joe Douglas and Robert Salah are going to get fired in 2 years if we don't pick up. And we're looking for a veteran quarterback to compete within the next 2 years.
Right.
So we can't touch Dwayne Brown because we don't know what's going on there. Hope they're saying he's going to retire, but let's just leave it. We
Yeah.
don't really know. But that's
Yeah.
a nice chunk. That's 11 mil. Corey Davis,
Cut.
we're up to 30 million in cap space.
It's not bad.
CJ Uzomah, I don't want to touch. Just kind of
Yep.
want to leave it. He does 10 mil. He's doing all right. This is a big one. I'm curious as to what you think about this guy, man. Jordan Whitehead. If we cut Whitehead, we save 8 mil, about 10.2 to 3. Okay, we save about 8 mil. What do you think?
And he's on the books. That's just till 2024. So he's on the books this season and
No,
next
he's a
season.
free. This is last year. This is
He's a
his
free
contract
agent.
year. This is his contract year. So
Okay.
we just be giving him 3 million to go to free agency 1 year early, and we'd save about 7-8.
I would keep him. I think that might be a little controversial in Jets land. I did not feel as terrible at Jordan Whitehead as a lot of people did this year. Was his
It's a
play
lot, bro.
stellar all the way throughout?
It's
No.
a lot.
Did he?
You don't think that 8 million is worth it just to have for somebody else?
No. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna go out and try to sign someone for 7 or 8 million.
Yeah.
We need another safety. Not only can we cut this guy, we need to sign another safety for 8 to
We need
ten
a free
million dollars.
safety. We need a free
Right.
safety. He's a strong safety.
Right. If we cut him, we're gonna need both again, and I don't
You're
want to do
right.
it.
Okay. All right. I'll
You
stick with
know.
you. I got my
Let's
way
look
with
at
Franklin Myers. You get your way with Jordan Whitehead.
let's look
We
at real
move.
quick what strong safeties made last year.
All right. While you do
Jamal
that,
Jamal Adams led the league at 17 million. That
okay,
stinks.
that's different. That's different.
But there's only a few really that earned that double digit millions. A lot more in like that $7 to $8 million range.
That's what I'm
So,
saying. That's why
but
Jordan
it's a
Whitehead's
lot of
getting paid a
work to
lot.
save 500,000. It's a lot of work to save $500,000.
5 million. You think we can get a decent strong
No.
safety for like 5?
Yeah, so you're gonna pay him what, 3 million you said in dead
Yeah.
cap? You're gonna pay him
Yeah.
3 million, you're gonna sign a guy for 5 million, you're at 8 million. You're
Yeah.
saving $2 million in the long run for all this paperwork, all this headache. It's like, dude, just pay the guy. He already
Okay.
knows the facility, he knows the
Okay.
scheme, he's a
All
good
right.
guy.
Fair enough. All right. I like it. All right. You got me. You got me.
Yep.
I'm sticking with Jordan Whitehead. I'm keeping
Q
Franklin
will.
Myers under restructure. Q Will, what are we giving him this year? I don't know how it's going to be structured. He obviously wants 25. Should we just put 25 on the cap this year?
Yeah, I mean Chris Jones. It looks like 2003 defensive tackles. Aaron Donald, obviously the big one at 32 million. Then Buckner and Chris Jones at 21 million. And then a lot of guys in that 17 to 13 range. So 25 would be the second highest defensive tackle in all of the
I
NFL.
think that's what he wants. I think he wants number 1. So let's give him 25 for this year,
We're
even though
not
I don't
paying
know
him
how it's going to be
32.
structured. What's up?
Yeah. It's not going to be $32 million like Aaron Donald. That's insane.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be 25 on the even if he's getting 25, it's not going to be 25 on the cap this year. There's no way that's how it's
Correct.
going to structure. They're going to give a bonus, but let's just call it
Give him that
25.
$15 million bonus.
Yeah, and that puts our cap space right now. We're at 15 mil right now.
Okay.
Still working through. We still got a
Cutting
lot of this
Barrios.
roster going. We're about to start cutting guys. We can't touch Zach Wilson. Tyler Conklin's good. I don't want to restructure him. Braxton Berrios, see you later.
Gone.
Up to 20 mil now. Nice $5 million cash. Gardner looking good at 760,000. Oh, no, 7 mil, right? That's 7 mil.
Yeah.
All right. Mekhi Becton, you can't touch him. Garrett Wilson, no problem. Barry Tucker. All right. Ashton Davis, man.
Cut.
All right.
He stinks.
All right. We save a couple mil there.
Yeah, his dead cap's only 285,000. That's a deal on a $3 million cap.
Bryce Hall, see ya.
Not Bryce. Yep. See you, Bryce.
2.7 mil right there. So we're back up to
That's nice.
25.6. Remember, we already signed Q Will for 25
And we
on
paid
the
Q Will.
cap. On the cap, 25. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario there. Braden Mann, are we keeping him?
No.
I'm so upset that Torrey Taylor is staying one more year in Iowa. I'm so upset.
Yeah.
Are we cutting Braden Mann? Now I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. Save 2.8 million there.
So
Why
when
is it
the
more?
dead cap is like 45 grand like that, do we literally just cut a check to him for 45 grand and say, get out of here?
So I
Like kind of
think
like what happened with Derek Carr, right? But it was Derek Carr more of his contract than dead cap.
yeah. So for Derek Carr is a little different. They literally have to write him a check for $7 million. But
Yeah.
for Braden Mann, I'm pretty sure that's already in escrow. Like that's already in a
Okay.
bank. You know what I'm saying? So he's just gonna get the rest of that 44, and then the rest. There's nothing else left in. You know what I'm saying? Nothing left in escrow. If you then guarantee the rest, then they go add the additional funds. You know what I'm trying to say?
Gotcha.
I
Yep.
believe that's how it works. Riding down here, everybody else here is good. Justin Hardy, I want to give him more money. Breeze
Yeah.
Hall, Denzel Mims, Tommy Hennessy, my boy, longest tenured Jet. Jeremy Ruckert, Michael Carter. I mean, there's no use in we can't lose his money here, but I'm not gonna be shocked if he's not with the team next year. Max Mitchell, the guy's got blood clots. He's got the Chris Bosh. I don't know if he's ever
Yeah.
gonna play again. I don't know how that money works there, but it's a decent chunk. It's 10.5 mil. So I don't know what goes on there. Right? Is that 10.5?
No, it's $1 million.
No, it's one. Oh, sorry. It's a mil.
Yeah,
So
we're
that's
down to the
that,
1 millions.
it's
So
a
that's
mil
fine.
there.
Max
Sorry.
Mitchell, you get your money. Sorry about the health concerns. We were
Michael
looking forward
Clemens,
to it.
obviously, I want to pay him more.
Whatever, yeah, I
Jeremy,
want to throw a 0 on the end.
Jamie and Sherwood, I'm cutting.
Sure.
I'm sorry. This is happening. Give me some money.
Yeah.
Michael Carter is good. Strevler is
Our
good.
slot is only $1 million. That's a deal.
He's a rookie. He's still on the rookie deal. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna have to pay him soon.
Yeah.
And everybody else on the back here looks okay. I'm probably
Oh,
cutting
we got
Hamza.
the Kenny Yeboah, and we're gonna stop cutting people now. All right.
All right.
No, I'm joking.
You caught me.
I agree.
You caught me. All right. Do I have to cut Boa? Do I have to cut him?
We're at 30 million, dude. We're right where we want to be. 30 million gets us a shot at one like elite guy and like 4 or 5 guys to fill in.
All right. I guess we can cut you Boa. It's 31 mil. Put him on the practice squad.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, right? Everybody else is good. Tanzel Smart looking good.
Yeah.
Deontay Spencer, 31.
Oh, your boy Chaz Surratt still hanging on.
Oh, yeah, baby. They're not going nowhere. I want to give him more money.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, this is pretty
I'm
good. Let's
cutting,
look at the trends.
I'm cutting.
Yeah, cut whoever else you want.
I'm cutting Deontay Spencer here.
That's fine.
Everybody else, Rodney Adams is good. Tony Adams? only room for one Adams. No, Tony Adams is good. We need him for safety. We'll just keep him. All right. This is good to go.
So looking at our transaction log here, right? We did how many things altogether? 10 moves? Oh, no, more than that.
14.
14. We started off with restructuring.
We started with the restructuring CJ and Lakin Tomlinson. We cut and signed Lawson. We saved $3 million there. Restructured JFM for 6.8. Cut Corey Davis to save 10.5.
Then we just cut a lot of people from that point on. So away,
but we gave Quinton Williams. We paid Quinton Williams. We gave him $25 million on the cap. Gave him what he wants, and then we cut a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Cut Braxton.
But I was just saying right off the bat with just our first 5 moves before we re-signed Q Will, we saved, what was that, 9, 10, so 20, 26 plus 8, $34 million right off the bat. Like, that's pretty good when just 5 moves. And a lot of those moves are it was cutting Corey Davis and then restructuring everyone.
Moving money around.
Yeah, so our roster is staying the same pretty much. We lost Corey Davis, but then we saved $35 million. We then spent 25, to your point. Not all 25 is actually going to go on the cap for Q Will. So say 20 of it's on the cap for Q Will. Or say 25, worst case scenario. We're coming up ahead, $10, $11 million with just by losing Corey Davis. And then all those other savings got us to $32 million in cap space. That's a pretty good swing where we started out at what, -4, -3.5, something like that.
Leaves us, we saved $35 million in total savings. We're up to a $32 million cap space. Now, some of that is reserved for our first round pick this year and all of our picks.
True.
So if we end up trading Aaron Rodgers, that 13th pick for Aaron Rodgers, yes, we're going to get $15 million back in cap, but we're also going to save some from that draft pick. So there's a lot of uh, maneuvering parts here. We just wanted to kind of give you a glance at our boy Joe Douglas and how he could maneuver this cap. And that's kind of how we're gonna end this episode. The Jets are in a really good spot. We have hired the floor due to our coaching hires, basically downgrades for Hackett, head coach to back to offensive coordinator. Keith Carter keeping his job where he's been killing it at running back / O-line coach. Todd Downing, downgrade probably because of off the field stuff, I would guess the most, from offensive coordinator down to passing coordinator. We got cap space. Derek Carr cut. We can get him for no assets, just money. We can structure it the way we want. Talking about cap space on this episode. Aaron Rodgers, if we trade him, willing to change his contract, he said 2 weeks ago on the Pat McAfee show. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. He said he's willing to restructure for the benefit of the new organization or the old organization. Shout out to the Packers for 18 years. And I love that he give that a little shout out. Yeah. Otherwise, everybody else is still on their own team. Then the new league starts in a couple of weeks. Hold on to your chairs. Let's see what happens at the top of the draft. That'll be fun. I'm thinking maybe someone's gonna trade it for with the Bears. Maybe Indy. So I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes on. Any last thoughts on this for this Jets episode, Greg?
No, not really. To your point, it's a domino effect, but you don't know which domino is gonna fall. So it's very exciting. Right now, the big need for us is quarterback. But even from the exercise we just did with the cap space, cutting people, adding people, and stuff like that, I didn't feel like there was any glaring holes when we got through that exercise. Like we need to sign this or we need to sign that. Would it be nice to get a wide receiver? Sure. We need to get a free safety. But other than that, like you got Q Will up here. We got our defensive line. John Franklin Myers was re-signed. We paid Q Will. Like there was nothing. We cut Corey Davis, but we got Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore. Like it's the first time in a long time.
We also have money. You know what I'm saying? Even if Aaron Rodgers didn't touch his contract, then we got him, and for the first round pick, we're gonna have I would say probably around 20 mil. Yeah. You minus the first round, you give him 15. Then we're gonna be at around 20 mil. We could sign Lazard easily without even blinking.
Yeah. That was gonna be my final thought, dude. It's honestly the first time in a long time going into the offseason that I feel like we don't have major holes to fill. We've done a great job. Joe Douglas has done a great job drafting last season and the year before, getting in pieces here and there. Not everything's worked out, but we've gotten in some pretty good pieces over the course of the last 2 or 3 years with him that we're in an incredible spot compared to where we started with them. So very excited about this offseason. Very excited to see what we can do with all this momentum. It's already coming to fruition with his coaching staff. Very happy about the way his coaching staff is shaping up for Salo and the rest of these guys. Yeah.
Shout out to the defense.
Shout out to the defense, boys.
All right. So if you made it all the way here, just it would really mean a lot to us if you like and subscribed on our YouTube, Knicks, Jets, etc. Period. Again, going through some changes right now. We got some updates coming through soon. Just stay tuned for us. Thank you for being patient with us. If you listen to us on audio, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, which has no ads if you're a Prime member, really cool. I'm listening to my podcast there. Google Play, you name it, Stitcher, you name it, we are there. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for hitting us up. Again, shout out to the defense. Let's go Jets. Let's get Aaron Rodgers, bro. Give me Aaron Rodgers.
Get it done. We need number 12.